What is up, down, and sideways, you beautiful people? We're back inside. It's League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys. The moment a lot of people have been waiting for. They just unleashed it all at once. We now have the team solo mid roster for 2022. I'm talking coaching staff. I'm talking starting five. We got all the details, Mark.
They delivered on their promise. They told everybody yesterday on Twitter that it's going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow is announcement day for the LCS, part of the TSM organization, and they absolutely deliver. We got the full-on announcement, as you said, filling in the mid lane, the support, and the whole coaching staff. TSM day starts now.
Yeah, so this is not what people were expecting, probably, for the most part. Some of these were kind of rumored and linked to earlier on in the offseason. But let's start with the actual roster. The core that we've already talked about, Hootie, Spica, and Tactical, obviously going to be there. The big announcements are Shenyi coming in as support, who was, he played some games in the LPL, was the backup to Crisp, played in the LDL for Fun Plus Phoenix. And this was the main rumor that I saw, so no big surprise there. Mid lane was where the big question mark was. The biggest rumor, I think, was Cream coming over from OMG, but it is going to be Keaiduo. I'm gonna butcher this name many times until we see 10 different casters say it. But he also is from the LDL. He was on Thunder Talks, LDL squad, and the big scary thing that TSM is saying with this one is he looked really good in their scouting combine. We don't want to hear that, Mark. He's good in scrims. No.
To be fair to TSM, to use that phrase is other organizations, but absolutely one that doesn't inspire the most confidence from anybody hearing that from the PR side. But what we do know about Keaiduo and what we have seen from him in this just short little bit, researching up and everything else, is a very green prospect that did deliver to some degree, however positive you want to be on it, that's a personal thing, in the LDL. And what he did there is certainly something that I think a lot of people can see and can look at how he played and imagine that alongside Spica and the rest of TSM in the LCS, and it's not a far stretch.
It's interesting because I think this is a guy who there shouldn't be pressure on him to be filling Bjergsen's shoes. It's obvious this guy he's only played in the challenger scene. He's 20 years old. He's played less than 100 games on stage. So no, it's not going to be Bjergsen. Let's stop right there. But there's potential. There's growth here. I like that they're kind of taking a risk, and this is a developmental thing that they said they were going to do, and we weren't seeing it with this roster until this moment. And I'm actually impressed and surprised that more teams haven't been importing from the LPL. It's just probably because the money is so good over in China, but we've been seeing Korean imports coming over for more than half a decade into the LCS, and the LPL has been right there with the LCK, if not better, over the last couple of years. So kudos for TSM for being the first team to really take that plunge into importing players from China.
You're right in the sense that, even though knowing of the difficulties and shortcomings that some organizations have had in being a good enough landing spot for other Korean imports in the past, looking towards the Chinese border, and as you said, with TSM being the one to do it, I don't think there's a better suited organization right now in the LCS to bring on that type of project for them. The way TSM has expanded and put some effort into their Chinese audience in the past. You got Peter Zhang still with the coaching staff. Yep. TSM takes regular visits. All these type of things to set it up. I think that this is going to be a very good welcoming spot for these two players to come in. And you're right, this is a situation where this could be the next couple of years that we see more attention, more focus towards the LPL, and specifically for me, the LDL, right? There's still so much talent over in the LPL in China and waiting to get their starting spot there. Why not go in on a young, hungry player still looking to make their name, make their fortunes, and say, I'll come do it over here in the LCS, my man.
And whether it's Young Miracles or other teams, we've seen star players come from the LTL. Not just starters in the LPL, but legit all-pro level players. So yeah, it is a great market for scouting talent, and we know the Scoutmaster 9000 memes that have TSM around them, bringing players over like that. The other big news, the head coach is going to be Chawy. If you've been following League for a decade, this is a former pro player from the early days of the LMS, has done a little bit of coaching in Brazil and then domestically in his region as well. He seems like a well-spoken, smart guy when it comes specifically to League of Legends as well. He was kind of the one talking through these roster changes for TSM and has been talking with the organization for a long time. It sounds like the biggest takeaway that I got from this announcement video for TSM is Chawy saying, with Keaiduo and Shenyi coming in, we've got the speaker to kind of speak Mandarin and do the communication for everyone. And that's a lot of pressure on speaker. Holy smokes, man.
Yeah, we're doubling down on the abilities of Speak on what he can do, not only in game with his talent, but talking about a translator as well at the same time. Dual roles. Going to be interesting to see how that one works out, and absolutely a departure for TSM. And for Reginald in the past has been very vocal about having an only English-speaking lineup, wants that to be the dominant language. Communication needs to be crisp, clear all the time. Different story with this roster and what we're going to be getting, at least at the very beginning, one would see.
And we know Huni speaks a bit of Mandarin. Obviously, Korean is numero uno, far and away for him, and Tactical speaks a little bit of Korean. Maybe he's going to be picking up some Mandarin. We might be seeing mic checks on TSM that's fully in Mandarin, the whole squad.
Break out the subtitles, my boys. It's going to be a fun time. The one other thing that I think can be really interesting about this, thing that they're bringing through and these young players is Keaiduo and what he did in the LDL. The big one for me is how he's going to pair with Spica. Obviously, the big young cornerstone franchise piece for TSM. That's the big thing for me from this mid laner, is seeing how he worked with his jungler, the synergy that they were able to do in the coordination. That's the big one for me. This is a team player, someone who likes to roam around. That is a perfect fit for me alongside Spica and the strength that he brings to the TSM lineup. Yeah,
we'll see if this dominance, as TSM was talking about from the tryouts for them, will carry over to some LCS success. I think after seeing this now full roster for TSM, seeing the full coaching staff, we still feeling good that we put them 5 in the power rankings.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident at number 5. If anything, you might slip up and say, okay, I want to ease the expectations from a number 5 to a number 6 and throw in some of the veterans from Immortals into that number 5 spot before the preseason. But I would still not feel hurt or pressured to really change away from that number 5 spot for TSM.
I think either way, a roster like this having these, at least Keaiduo in the mid lane, having some experience in the lock-in stage, getting that kind of pre-tournament before the main split. This is exactly what the lock-in tournament is for rosters like TSM that need to get some stage time and B, as much time as possible developing synergy.
I really hope that what gets across is that this is not a finished product for TSM at all with the development.
It's a long year.
Very long year in the development of these players as well. Might be even longer than just this year. But if it's going to go the way and the development pays off the way that TSM is hoping for, it'll be worth it in the long run, guys.
If you want to be even more legit, more like traditional sports in your esports, we got to stop flaming people after one split. Look at how long it takes a rookie in the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, the MLB. It's a year, multi-year long process before you see them getting fully comfortable in the scene. I'm so tired of seeing half a split from a guy as a rookie and saying, nah, he's done, his career's over. It's absurd.
Video games, esports, young people, immaturity. That's the perfect mixture to get everybody making snap judgments on something like that, as you said. But we've seen it many times before. It doesn't matter what region it's in. People have redefined who they are as a professional in the scene and what they can provide of value. It's never set in stone, and absolutely looking to see what is going to be going on and the journey of the ups and downs for this TSM lineup.
There's a lot of question marks with how good this TSM roster can actually be, but I'm going to say it one more time. It's not Bjergsen, guys. No one was going to be Bjergsen on TSM. I just feel like I need to say that multiple times.
It's the Speaker show right now, guys. That is where this TSM roster is being built around, and it is a new dawn. Let's move on.
TSM Legends are going to be Spica in 3 different languages, just talking to the camera. But that's the TSM roster. That's it for now for League Unlock. Eric Kabark here with you guys. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you on that flippity flip.